Here we go then. The IEM Roadshow Series 10 rolls into its final location. San Jose, done. Taipei, done. All the other locations, they are done, which brings us to Poland, to Katowice, and to the World Championships. This is big. This is the biggest one so far this year, the premier esports event this year, and I am super excited about it. So what is going on? Well, we have a prize pot of $250,000 plus. Plus what? Well, it could be plus more money, or it could be plus free mouse mats. We'll find out from Matthew on the desk in just a little while about that. How many teams? 12 teams. Of those, 9 of the best teams in the world right now are going to be here. Of those, only 6 will make it through to the big stage in the Spodek. And it is such a big stage, a beautiful stage, possibly, for me personally, the best esports stage that I have seen so far. So let me talk you through where we are right now. Where we are is actually in a basketball arena. This is just a basketball arena. It's as simple as that. We've made these booths for all the players to be in. Ninjas in pajamas, warming up right there before they get going in just a bit. We keep going down. The Mongols, they have made it here. They got their visas for the most important of the tournaments that they should play this year. And it really is going to be the most fantastic of arenas, because it is just that in here. It is just quite simply a basketball arena, which we've made some booths in. Mouse sports with no gobby, FAK on that one. And they will play out of here. They will beat each other between the two groups. Group A today, which is, I think the quote is, beyond stacked. They will play each other to make it onto the big stage. We've got what some people are calling the second best team in the world right now in CS, in Luminosity. Hey guys. Hey, he's hiding. Hey! And then, if we talk about who we think are the favourites for this tournament, NaVi up in the final booth. Olaf, buddy, how are you? Good to see you. Excited about playing here?
Yeah, excited. It's always fun.
And when I was speaking to you in Barcelona at the last event we did, you were taking your shoes off for every match you played, and you won that event. Will you be taking your shoes off here?
Of course.
Of course we will. Olaf, looking forward to seeing you play in just a bit. Put it there. Good man. He does take his shoes off every time, which is maybe where his power is. And if we're going to talk about the favourites for this tournament, smart money, possibly going to go that way. Thick money, possibly going to go that way, because since they added Dennis, they've not lost any tournament they have played in. So then, it's time to cry havoc and let's slip the dogs of war. Sadokist, let's get it on.
Thank you so much, OJ. Perfect introduction. You can see where they're set up today. Again, we moved to the arena on Friday, but before we just go any further, we said Fnatic NaVi is going to be on this stream. Remember, on the B stream, the Australian team will be covering all of the secondary action because we do have simultaneous games. They start off with NIP versus Mouse Sports. So just in case anyone's wondering and want to watch that game, they want to see the new NIP firsthand, you can do so there. Let's get into our game a little bit though, guys. This is the big one. Fnatic right out of the gate, they struggle early on. Is this the chance for NaVi to get the early win in the round robin format?
Yeah, it is, and this is the thing. Like NaVi always struggles against Fnatic. They've been able to take some maps on them. Haven't really won any series against them anytime recently. So I mean, and they even have like this mental block. We're even talking to them, and this was a while back in December at Pro League, which actually isn't that far ago. It just feels like it with all the events that we have. But I mean, they even mentioned that they just know that they have this mental block. They stumble against Fnatic, and for whatever reason, they can't always pull it out. They have some really close series against them, and then we saw it in Minx at Star Ladder. They just got crushed. So it's this really weird situation where they can either play close games or just get demolished, but they rarely ever top Fnatic.
Yeah, I think it's like you said something like
2 and 18
is
that's
the
in
map
maps
score.
yeah,
but that's even worse when you think about it. It's not even series, but that's map score against them. And those 2 wins came in the series that I think still they should have won, was the Pro League final.
That was as close as it can get in a series. It was a best of 5. It went 5 maps, and the difference in Fnatic only won 2 rounds more than NaVi did in that whole series. So, of course, they did get crushed in Minsk, as you mentioned. It was on Dust2, which is probably one of the best maps for Fnatic, along with Inferno, right? But it's also a really good map for NaVi. Cobblestone was a map that NaVi is really good on. Fnatic didn't play that much. They got crushed on both. So that is a worrying sign for NaVi.
And it is best of ones throughout the course of the round robin because it's still equalized. It's not like someone's going to get knocked out with 2 best of ones. Everyone plays everyone. It's still fair. We'll get to that in a second on which map they're going to play. But first and foremost, we've got interviews with either team. First up, it's Olaf from Fnatic.
What I think about when I think about Katowice is sick crowd, amazing event, so many people and so many crazy fans. This is probably the most exciting tournament of the whole year. Our preparation for this event has been good. We have been practicing a lot together, and we have made a wider map pool than we had before coming into this event, so we're feeling confident. we have faced so many problems before, so we kind of know how to deal with certain situations. Also that we have a very big confidence in each other, and like everyone can go big at every time. So we're like, even if we're 15-0 down, we still believe that we can win the game.
So there you go, Fnatic. Olaf obviously talking about the sick crowd. Now that won't be here until, again, when we get to the arena, something we'll talk about with Virtus Pro, if that gets the wind in their sails finally. That'll be tomorrow in Group B where we see them first, but I think there's some interesting points to take away from this. We know the map, we'll get to that in a second, but I like how he's just saying, you know, get the wins early on, get moving, and get motivated in this big tournament. Now, before we do discuss it too much, to save us time on the other side so we can get into all the details, let's take a look at his opponent. It's Guardian from NaVi.
We've been playing like since 4 p.m. until midnight,
I just told you I can
and then
talk
individually
about
even for until
watching this,
6 a.m. or something.
We'll do that
At least
right now,
me
right?
personally,
Oh,
I've been
I said
playing a
you
lot
know
for
I
this
know
event.
Yeah, shit.
So
Sorry.
yeah, I would say we are prepared very well, and hopefully in the opening game against Fnatic we can show how did we prepare.
It's because I was
we
listening to him and
some
you guys,
rivals
and I
in the
missed the whole
group,
interview, so I
like
was-
Luminicity past. I would say even 8 events we have them in the group, so we always have close games, but they have defeated us only once, I would say, if I remember right. So it will be something very hard to play in the group stage, and then we have Fnatic, the best team in the world, and we have like 0-18 at the LAN events against them. So I think we have to overcome our like mindset against them, and we have to show no respect against Fnatic if we want to win. I hope it will be the taking of the title in Katowice and beating Fnatic in the grand finals. That's our goal, to beat Fnatic in the grand finals.
So he said it there himself, Guardian, that they do have trouble against Fnatic. We've already touched on it. I mean, he said they always play Coast Series. I think he forgot about Minsk. That was kind of abysmal for them.
I would block that out of my memory too.
Yeah, I don't blame him. But he did say as well that they play each other in the group. Now, sometimes that's a bit of a benefit, remember, because we have a crossover format. So when you face these people in the group early on, i.e. Fnatic Envious, you don't necessarily have to meet them again until the final. So in some ways, it's kind of nice to be in their group early on, because it means the playoff run can be a little bit deeper.
If you can get out of it.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing about this round-robin format is even if they lose against Fnatic here, they don't have to necessarily rely on beating them. Like, if they lose and they can win out against their other matches, they can maybe rely on Luminosity to upset Fnatic, NIP to do some kind of magical upset, maybe the Mongols.
Well, this is a really good point. Because it's best of one in a round robin, it's kind of like the other example of it is Pro League. When you get this one team that's losing everything this year, Virtus Pro, and they pick up one map off someone that everyone else got, that's kind of like a double loss, because it's free win for everyone else, you lose here. So one or two upsets in this group can really change everything.
I mean, in my opinion, the GSL format, that's the most used one, is the superior format, right? But it's in four teams in a group and so on. It's kind of interesting for me to see, you know, a change here and there, because it makes it more exciting. It's a best of one, you know, maybe the pressure is there for, it will be exciting to see how teams cope with the pressure, you know, in the matches against the underdogs as well.
Yeah, I think the Mongols can be the big spoiler in this. If they pick up one win, it could be, well, let's say they do beat Fnatic and everyone else beats
He's just
them,
angry because
that's a loss.
Because Mongols is about to just put Nico in his place.
Yeah, that's probably absolutely true.
Like,
someone needs to.
Yanko's boyfriend's about to get wrecked.
I just want them to put Yanko in his place. I don't care about Nico. Just put this guy away. But let's get into it. Now, we do know the map. I know you wanted to speculate on which it would be, but it is Dust2. Is that something you would have thought between these two teams?
I would have thought that it would be Navi's last ban, because they got crushed on it. And in Minsk, I suppose that it was, you know, Fnatic banning out Overpass and Train, Navi banning out Cash, of course, and Inferno, and then it was up to Mirage, Cobble, and Dust2. And I thought that Fnatic would ban Mirage, Navi would ban Dust2, and we would end up with Cobble. But it seems that Navi is confident in their Dust2 and that they can, you know, put up a fight against Fnatic.
Well, they have no reason not to be confident against Navi when they just, you know, botted them just a little bit ago. You definitely have some things to worry about where it's such an op-heavy map. Guardian's very, very good on it, but Fnatic obviously knows how to play this team. They've been so victorious against them. I can't see a single map that Fnatic would, you know, lack confidence on against Navi, because they've just beat them on everything.
Against anyone.
Yeah, well, there's that too.
The thing is, in the Dust2 game at Minsk, right, Fnatic got off to a crazy start on the CT side. They won the pistol up 3-0, then just their aggression that they're so well known for, right? Boosting Dennis up Cat, he was pushing all the way top mid, JW covering him with the op, and it was 7-0 for Fnatic before Navi could even, you know, react to what's happening. And when you start off that bad, it's hard to come back into the game against any team, let alone against Fnatic.
Yeah, against Fnatic is the big thing, and not only that, they're the team that force buys so aggressively and keeps economy even. We saw it recently when Mouse Sports most recently played them, that they had the lead, they looked like everything was great, and then all of a sudden Fnatic, like they lost one clutch round and they were going, oh no. And then they lose another clutch, oh no. And then you could just see that the momentum building. So Fnatic's a team that's never out of this game, and I think that puts a lot of pressure on teams that play against them.
They just have some kind of, I don't even know what to call it. It's just like a miracle, some of the rounds that they win, like late down the stretch. Even maps where it looks like the other team's firmly in control. There's always one round where it's just like that Fnatic kind of round where you're just like, there it is. They're about to win this game.
Is it like the NiP magic? They've stolen this
Swedish
magic?
Yeah, it might as well just be Swedish magic. Like it's pretty ridiculous. And it happens against the best teams in the world. It happens against Astralis, happens against Envy, happens against NaVi and Luminosity. It's not like they just do this against the Mouse Sports, the lower tier teams. It's like against the best teams in the world, they still have this magical Tech 9 round where you're just like, all right, and everything's out the window. Everybody pack it up. Let's go home.
Yeah.
And it keeps happening. They're consistently doing it. For some other teams, you can say, oh, it was a fluke. It happened this time. This player had an amazing game, an amazing performance. From Fnatic, you're not even surprised when it happens because it happens time and time again. In Barcelona, the Dignitas couple game, all of Meister just going off of B platform, basically winning the last 3 rounds for his team. I mean, and you're not even, that's just all of things. Basically.
Yeah, basically. Now, on Dust2, the last time they did play, when NaVi played against Astralis earlier on in Minsk, there was a huge issue for Astralis where they have that passive catwalk. NaVi read into it, they took advantage of it, they got most of the kills on the A side or on entry quite convincingly. They then went up against Fnatic in the final. The difference was Dennis playing really forward. How much is NaVi going to have to be aware of that and make adjustments for it, whether it's not really flash, some utility to make him push back a little bit further, and how much does that affect them when they don't have the utility later on?
Yeah, that's the problem. When you lose pistol and everything, you don't have as many resources, or maybe you're trying to save a flash here and there when going for map control, and Fnatic will exploit that. Dennis, in that particular game, I think, because he was always Dennis is not performing as well in Fnatic, the other players are carrying and so on. Dennis got 9 kills in the 2 pistol rounds in that game. So he's an amazing pistol player. When you have an asset like that, basically, makes your chances to win the pistol round, which can get a bit random at times, or are random probably at times. It's a great asset for them because that's what allows them to have a good start. That's what allows them to go for those aggressive plays, and the teams have a lot of trouble coping with that.
Even just his deagles, it just comes down to his pistols. Like, he's so crucial to how they like to beat teams, which is grinding down the economy, keep it in check. And even if they're forced onto those saves, forced onto those deagles, it's incredible for him. I think the big thing is he's used so interesting. Like, you see him on maps like Inferno, like every once in a while, and even other maps, they just tell him one round out of nowhere, just to switch things up. They're like, go rush something, and you'll see him just like rush mid on Inferno through a smoke, and you'll see him just like rush different locations on the map and see if he can catch someone off guard. And that's the thing with Fnatic. They throw so many different looks at you, so many different things. It's varied, and it's not about whether Navi's going to be able to adjust to it. You almost have to predict it coming. You also have to have a feel of when you're going to call something for your defense to change to go up against what they're going to alternate into. Because if you're just reacting to Fnatic, it's too late. You can't just react to what they're doing.
Yeah, well, that's one thing as well that you mentioned, that the ability for them to push through smokes. They seem like the most fearless team in that regard. So teams never really can rely on just anchoring down positions. Lower smoke on banana on Inferno comes to mind.
Go.
Yeah, that's one that they commonly push through. So that's one thing. I got a question that's a little bit more broad, not necessarily specific to this game, and it's something that someone arose recently to me and brought to light. What are your thoughts on pistol rounds? I know it's classic CS, all right, you start with $800, but in some cases, if the lesser team wins a pistol round, it gives them a legitimate chance in a game that potentially they shouldn't really be in. What about starting with 10K like overtime, and then you still have eco rounds, but you kind of get the skill off the start? Is this way too non-traditional for you?
I personally don't like it. I like pistol rounds. I want to have pistol rounds. I think you should have you've always had them, and that's not a great reason to keep them, but I think I think they're just crucial. I think it's nice to have a pistol round. The economy plays a huge role. I don't like just starting out with $10,000. It would be interesting to see how it would work, but that's such a massive change to the game. We already have so many new changes right now. I think we need to wait a little bit longer to try and if anyone's going to implement that. But
yeah. No, just a thought, because
I'm a big fan of pistol rounds. I love pistol rounds.
Yeah,
even with them being random.
I'm with you as well, because you got a player like, again, let's say Dennis. Now we know Dennis can have impact in other rounds as well, but even if he only gets those 9 kills in the pistol round, that's a huge amount of the game in his hands, that he's had a massive impact. So I'm still a fan. It was just a thought, though, that I thought was actually kind of neat.
I mean, the thing why people say it's random at times is because, unlike the gun rounds, right, where everyone has a lot of resources, in pistol rounds you don't have a lot of nades. So most of the time it comes down to hitting your shots, right, which sometimes will happen, sometimes it will not happen. In general, all pistol rounds are the same in a sense that the Ts try to get to those close range battles because they have the Glocks, which are, you know, superior, maybe even close range, while the CTs are going for the long range battles because the USP can be a one-shot kill if it's a headshot and so on. It's the rate of fire is weaker and everything. So you see similar things a lot of time. That's why even now in the newest meta, it seems to be on the CT pistol rounds at some maps, the CTs just buy 5 Kevlars. They don't buy even a defuse kit because of the extra 5 seconds. They don't bother with nades. They just go for Kevlars because they know that in the end it's going to come down to those aim duels.
A lot of retake tactics as well lately. Like a retake on the pistol round where you can play range and you're kind of just praying to get those 1 or 2 long range kills before you're forced into a retake spot.
Yeah, and people have actually been, interestingly, because the long range you'd think USP, but a lot of people have been switching back to the P2000 as of late too, because they can fire the body shots a lot quicker. You've got more ammo in the magazine. I'll make sure I don't say clip, or I'll get roasted. But I've noticed that because people are doing the straight up brawl tactic where they rush back in with armor rather than the more strategical style of picking.
You do have to, even though they are good on range on these CT pistol rounds, you do almost have to be a little bit proactive. That's why you normally see, especially on cache, it's the easiest example of like the retake on the A, and you can get aggressive elsewhere on the map to kind of find information and then have a quick flank. But you do have to almost do something proactive on the defense of most pistol rounds these days.
Dust2 is a great example for that as well. You will see, I guess even right now, 8 times out of 10, you will see the CTs push up catwalk, maybe go all the way top mid, or just hold the angle towards lower B and so on, because you want to get that initial pick and then fall back and maybe play the numbers.
And it actually comes in a little bit of predictability. We've seen teams now just sitting back waiting for that cat push too.
That's what Mouse does.
Yeah.
Mouse gets, Nico gets a deagle, and the other 4 players just play in pairs in an anti-push position, and if someone, pushes, they kill them. If not, then they just let him go ham with the deagle.
Nico's a man too because he goes no armor. He just buys the deagle himself. It's not like the raid boss strategy that we see.
Or his teammates don't love him enough to drop one for him.
I wouldn't love him that much either. I can understand. I mean, anyone from that region, I wouldn't drop you anything either.
Wow.
Probably because I don't have money. You're
Yanko.
probably gonna have to drop for me. That's why, because I'm gonna be broke.
I'm gonna drop you, man.
Just straight up, eh? Just straight up drop me.
I like
Here
it.
we go again. The death threats are going to come before the end of the day, I imagine.
Yeah, well, it is Yanko.
It is early. I'm getting told we've got a little bit of time still to go into toward the game. Any final thoughts for you guys? Obviously, we talked about the AWP battle. JW, Guardian. Guardian probably a little bit more comfortable, I think, on this map.
JW's been looking sick lately, so he's had a little bit of I don't even know if I want to call it a resurgence, but he hasn't had to be that flashy, that effective, impactful player. He's had a couple of rounds here and there, but just from Pro League that we've seen recently, I mean, obviously that one day on Cash and everything was against Mouse Sports, I believe it was actually, ironically. Pretty nuts, but I think he, even going back to Barcelona, had a couple of his big games where he played really, really well. So I think that's a huge thing for Fnatic, is that he's kind of gotten back in the saddle a little bit, making his classic JW plays, knifing people. Why not? Let's go for it. Like
that was sick. That was actually a really smart play in that situation.
I like how cocky Fnatic is now. They're just like done with it. They're like, all right, yeah, we're Fnatic. We win these rounds. JW's like, I'm JW. I knife people. Why not?
They have no reason to think otherwise until someone makes them, right? That's the whole point. That's why, maybe even in one tournament, at different points in the tournament, 4 of the 5 players, let's say, maybe even all 5 of them, will be the best performance in a game or in a series or whatever. In Barcelona, we saw that at times it was Flash and JW. Then in the Dignitas game, Olaf comes back. Then Dennis in a game and so on. Then Crims, who's been quiet but wins maybe 2 important clutch rounds. It's just take your pick.
I think that's actually a good point. We talk about confidence and how much that can actually help teams in general in Counter-Strike. You want to make a point on that?
Well, there was just talking about Crims, like for Fnatic on this defense on Dust2, his performance in that B bomb site, how many times have we seen him bail Fnatic out of like tough spots? Yeah. Where he's alone and like a mid B split is executing, and Crims is like the one person in the world who's going to get 3 kills on it, just save him from some kind of massive collapse.
He's so efficient.
So that's huge, and I also think with NaVi's slow style on the T side, if they get a player picked off early and they're going to keep things slow and try and kind of feel out the map in a 4-on-5, that's when Fnatic's going to be at their best. That's when you can see they're going to start getting aggressive out towards an extremity of the map, and they can just start really flanking Na'Vi.
All right, well, that said, we are getting ready. Predictions, we got to do them. We'll start the count and see who's the most accurate throughout the course of the weekend, but Moses, you're up first.
Fnatic.
Fnatic.
No scores?
I mean, yeah, okay, 16, 16-8, 16-9.
I hate scores.
I do too.
But you got to give me one because I'm making you.
No.
Yep, do it.
No.
No? All
I
right,
am
then
the
his
boss.
predictions are tossed out, and Moses wins by default because you both said Fnatic. Doesn't matter
Standard.
what the score is. Moses is going to be closer. That said, we are going to
like
get
the
into game one.
NA
It's going to
fighting.
be... It's fine. It's fine. We're fighting against you. We're on the same team here. For once, NA might actually win a battle. But that said, it is going to be Na'Vi, and it is going to be Fnatic. To bring you the game, it's Anders and Semler.
All right, thank you very much. Not wanting to give a score prediction there, but both of our analysts are favoring Fnatic. What do you think, Samla?
Oh, well, I'm going to follow suit, bro. I have to go with Fnatic as well.
Wow,
Even if it
my
is Na'Vi.
God. It's a
'Cause
best
there's-
of one game.
It's a best of one game, but Na'Vi, even in like best of one, best of two, best of three, best of five, they just can't handle Fnatic, man. The block, it's there. I was talking about it yesterday in our pregame show, right? It's just like this block of cement that Na'Vi, it's got rebar going through it, titanium steel reinforcing it. Like, they just can't get over the
Not
fact
even
that...
jet fuel can melt it.
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
Already memeing from the very first second.
Right
Look,
off the bat. I mean, hell, Sato's already getting his shots in on NA, like right out the gate. It's like...
Not even
NA
really
might
getting
win a
started.
battle. I don't know, man. I think I'd have to go with Yanko on that one just to be, you know.
I think, definitely, definitely.
If it comes to
Yeah,
grips between the two.
I'd bet all my skins on Yanko in that fight. Look, the other problem is Na'Vi's one of these teams, like NIP, that sometimes in group stages tend to mess up a bit. Like they seem to be slow out the gate.
Yes.
I've seen Fnatic be a little bit slow actually recently in best of threes, but I think smart money here is definitely on Fnatic. But I don't want to. It's Dust2 as well. Guardian off to a good start. I think this is a closer game than it may seem.
Ooh, look at this. I like that. I like that. All right. Well, we're not actually going to commentate, obviously, a knife round, but it's looking like Fnatic should be able to get to decide on which side they want to start here in this first map. Not sure if it's going to make a huge difference between both of these teams. They're both excellent on both sides, so now, I mean, Na'Vi should be pretty happy that they got Dust2. Fnatic are also very solid on the map, so
yeah.
I mean, what do you think, Anders? I mean, you threw me under the bus. I went with Fnatic. Are you going with the Fnatic train as well?
See, the thing is, if you'd asked me first, if nobody else had made a prediction, I would have said Fnatic. But now I have a chance to beat all three of you in predictions. If I go with
Okay,
no.
I see how you're gonna do it.
So you see
So
how that works?
You don't actually, predict who's gonna win. You just say the opposite of what the rest of us have said.
Yeah.
Okay, so Na'Vi then.
And then I'll be wrong most of the tournament, but if I'm right every once in a while, I will still be like,
I told you so.
see how it went out. Yeah, to hell with it. I'm gonna go with Navi. Why not? Dust2, kind of an open map. It is true though. I mean, JW has been playing a lot better recently. That's scary on a map like Dust2.
Well, it was like versus SK. What, last week, was it? Yeah, it was versus SK last week where he had that insane round in the, I mean, granted it was online, but he just bodied them on cash where it was like 4 of those rounds were highlight reels for JW. Like each one could have been just like its standalone highlight reel. That whole game was his show. So if he brings that level here to Katowice, if he continues to play like that, he's going to be so hard to handle. This is like vintage JW, back when he used to do things that made no sense, make them work, and he's the only one who was capable of it. So if he hits that level, man, Olafmeister, he's going to have to hang on to try and, catch up, basically, because JW is just going to take over.
And I think that's always that risk, and Navi don't seem to be very good at it, but, how early can the Guardian even get that AWP? They need the economy for it. We are into the game here. Fnatic starting on the CT side, and JW peeking out just a little bit in the middle. It looks like Navi is setting up for a hit on A-Long, actually.
Yeah.
Don't
they
have a
some
flashbang
utility.
for it, though.
Exactly. I was about to say, they have some utility. They have the Molotov and smoke, but no flash. Dennis is in position to actually take these headshot fights. He's looking for that one click to give Fnatic that strong start, but he spotted 2 players out at least here over at Long, so that gives Navi, or I mean, that gives Fnatic at least a little bit of information to go off of. Same for Navi. Now they know that somebody's holding close Long, but they could have assumed that. Fnatic, it would have been insane for them not to go for some kind of, I mean, at least have a little bit of a presence there on that part of the map.
Ooh, they're going to try and see if they can run short, maybe. That's the smoke here anyway, but JW's already in there, so he's definitely going to know. Seized in lower dark, and he's going to get shut down. JW making his way back, and that's all he wanted from that engagement. Now, they're going to make a clean run to A bomb side, or actually, Dennis is going to challenge. I would have thought maybe Fnatic would have just tried to play retake if they wanted to. They would have had a good shot of it. Now, it might be even better here. There is a Molotov in play, but still 50 seconds left. And that Molotov going to rain in on the bomb site. Dennis going to end up burning alive, actually. Seuss with the kill. JW overextending a bit here. It's going to be Olofmeister to take the fight, but JW goes down, and now it's back into a 2-on-3 bomb just about to go down.
And that was Flusha finding one more. That was off of Catwalk as well. So Navi, they still have control of that area, but it's a 2-on-3 situation. Crims gets dropped down to 1 HP. He was trying to push up Catwalk alone, so Navi are doing a good job holding that area, but Flusha just... Well, it's not even Flusha. Flusha's the one we're following, but it's Olofmeister who gets both kills, clearing up the site.
It looked like it could have been either one, but I mean...
Right? I thought that Flusha was looking pretty good there with the headshots, but Olof, man, he's actually using Flusha as bait. That's the whole point, right? Yes, yes. Pay attention to Flusha. Pay attention to Flusha while I go ahead and pick you off at will.
I mean, obviously Olofmeister with the triple that round, but JW with that early kill and all the information they got from that, so valuable.
At Navi, they clearly had, I mean, that was all according to plan. They had the smoke to block off Catwalk, push up Catwalk aggressively, then the Molotov to clear out sight. That worked marvelously against Dennis. I mean, Navi, each step of the way, that the plan seemed to work, apart from dropping the man in mid, obviously, but they couldn't expect for JW to push into lower like that. But every part of the plan worked, apart from just getting the headshots. If they could have cleared out the man and Goose that much faster, JW, instead of him staying alive so long that it allowed Crims to get in behind, to allow Flusha to rotate, it could have worked out much better for Navi.
You got to wonder about this, because they did get the bomb down, didn't they? And now they've bought armor and pistols.
No, they failed to get the bomb down. They failed to get the bomb down, yeah. That's is Olaf. He denied the fucking bomb, or pardon me, he denied the bomb plant, so.
Oh no, that's almost unreal, because I actually thought they could have gone through with it, so maybe they just wanted to fight instead. That's a bit of a misstep, but they're doing pretty good job right now trading in the middle with just Tech-9s and Deagles and a P250 there as well. JW going to run through this, what you were talking about, some of that vintage JW stuff, and he's taken a really long fight with Guardian and ends up not winning it. And did they catch? They did catch Flusha trying to get into the corner. He's going to get the 1 kill in, but this could be a bit risky, luckily for them. Cease goes down in the middle, so he couldn't have flanked Flusha, and now it's all on Guardian here. He's got the Deagle and the MP9 in play as well, but he kind of, I could see why he'd want to use the Deagle against Flusha, because they know he must be a bit low.
And this is such a big gamble coming out from Guardian. Must be some kind of information given to him by his teammate who got killed off by Dennis in mid, because he's going to be able to rotate up onto this A site, and he had 30 seconds when he started it as well, so he's just barely going to be able to get in there in time to get this bomb plant down. Full rotation coming out here from Fnatic. He hears the steps, he gets the headshot onto Dennis, but Dennis is just too quick for him. 2 kills for Dennis in the end. But yeah, you gotta have Crims there saying, you know, tighten up your game, guys, because that was a bit sloppy. We were taking fights, we were pushing through smokes, it was a little bit nasty, and that led to that being a much more expensive round than it needed to be for Fnatic.
Bit of a shame, again, they couldn't get the bomb down, but it wouldn't have sparked, I think, a buy in this round for them, even if it was a 1v2 at the end there. Might be a bit too much of a risk here. That means that AWP from Guardian is going to be delayed, and those bomb plants do help to try and secure that a bit earlier on. They really have to be careful. I think, especially on Dust2 for some reason, we've seen it in the past from NaVi how they end up buying so much that they can't actually afford one of the critical weapons on this team, which is Guardian's Orb.
That's where you see them start to, I mean, it also comes down to the money again, because not only do you want Guardian with the AWP, but we've seen Seized pick up the AWP more and more here for NaVi on the map, and getting that double op on Dust2 can be brutal to deal with. T-side or CT side, we've seen it be effective, right? And NaVi are one of those teams that can actually make it work. They do build a lot of their strategy around Guardian with the AWP for him to find that entry frag to allow them to push onto a site. But yeah, again, it all comes down to money, and you got some teams like Envy where they don't really care. They'll come at you with a toothpick and they'll get something done with it. But NaVi really do need that money, so yeah, Guardian, I mean, we can see the difference here is that Guardian, he's gone for a hard eco with the Glock. He's really trying to save every buck possible.
But if they actually run for this A bomb side, they should be able to get the bomb down. I don't think one player there on car can stop them. That's Flusha already out in the open a little bit. They're not going to win this round, I think. And a couple of grenades in there. Flusha doing a pretty decent job, but the bomb should be going down for once. So NaVi get the $800 bonus, and that's all they wanted for a round like this. Not a bad round at all. Would have been great if they could have killed Flusha or Dennis or both.
Lucky break for NaVi though, because Guardian took a nade to the face. He took full damage from that HE as well. Had he been clipped by a single bullet from Flusha before, that would have been the deny on the bomb plant, and there wouldn't have been an op here for, well, there would have been an op, but it would have been a glass cannon op for Guardian. Now he has money for a smoke, he has money for Kevlar. He's looking a bit healthier here, but there's a universe where they didn't get that bomb plant, and it might not have been full nades for everybody across the board here on NaVi. Now it's the full buy, and because basically that second round, how expensive it was, Fnatic, they're still a little limited on their cash.
And look at this great play for Fnatic. I love this. Pushing actually 3 people into upper dark. This is obviously a risk, but they got long covered, so they know it's not going to be an A rush anyway, because that would have been on long. And now, going to be smoking out Seized and checking out what's going on, leaving Crims, it seems, as the rest are going to be falling back. But this is just, I love this way of playing the B-bomb site.
What the hell? This is insane. And then they rotate back into mid. So Crim starts stepping around. Seized is close enough to hear this, so... But then Seized can't be sure. You know, he's like, okay, I hear footsteps, but did he back off? Or is he still lurking up there? What's going on here? This is going to buy so much time for Fnatic to get into position.
Well, that's exactly it. Right now, NaVi, they've got to be so confused. So Fnatic could probably guess that someone will have heard that they're there, but now NaVi have to check everything. And they also have to wonder, has our strategy been revealed? Whatever we're doing on the other side, do we have to cancel that? They are going to be falling back into a very common setup here, which is 2 on B, 2 on long, and 1 on A. See if that's going to work out. Right now, NaVi could definitely be setting up for a bit of a B split here.
With these steps, though, Crims might be close enough to hear these going off in Lower Dark right now, so this is information. You can see Olafmeister kind of focusing up on mid doors. He wants to be in position, and now we've rotated back into a 2-1-2. Olafmeister is able to go through CT to get to A site quickly, but he can also rotate through to B very quickly here to support his boys. But with 25 seconds left, standard for NaVi. Of course, run that clock down as much as possible, and then the push begins with the single Molotov. That's it. Then it's holding close, though. Only a 1-for-1 trade. Crims has to come in big, and again, he does. Does big damage, takes out Edward, and he drops 2 players low. Then the flash comes in from Olaf, and it's a complete and utter slaughter. Near perfect hold for Fnatic. Actually, I'll give them the perfect. Dennis dies, but he did such a great job just buying a little bit of time, setting up that combo for Crims there to come in, and then Crims just stays alive forever.
Yeah, and another nice triple kill for Olafmeister, but also, I think, really significantly, you said Crims doing damage, also waiting for the pop flash to come in to peek out again. Just small things, but they're very important. If he'd kept taking that fight, maybe Olaf would have thrown the flashbang for nothing, and they would have smoked him off, so... Really, really good teamwork there. 4-0 right now, moving into the 5th round, and we've got Tech9s and a Deagle there on Edward. But yeah, NaVi off to a slow start here on Dust2, in spite of some decent-looking rounds.
And those are back-to-back near-perfect rounds as well for Fnatic, so the money is going to be incredible for them. They save Guardians up as well, so JW, he just saved 4750. I mean, life isn't about to get any easier here for NaVi anytime soon. They need to win back-to-back rounds here to actually have an impact on the Swedish economy. So let's see if they're going to be able to pull that off with the Tech9s. Unfortunately, JW, he's expecting somebody close Lower Dark, so he does give up top mid. He might have been able to get a pick there. Now he has to wait and see if anybody's going to be pushing up Catwalk, but a perfectly timed flash forces him off the angle and allows NaVi to get up there scot-free.
I mean, A-bomb site's definitely not the best place to use all these pistols. If they're going into sort of an afterpart situations and they've got Tech9s fighting, then B-bomb site I think would be more interesting, but it's also going to be harder to take, so... Maybe they just want to play for the bomb part and see if they could get lucky at the end. Zeus dropping low a little bit. He's going to end up going down to JW. Actually a pistol and not even the AWP being put into play. Olaf, he's going to get 1 kill before he gets traded. And they are sort of lining up here. Edward going to get 1 more headshot in. Dennis also dropping fairly low, but it's still going to be a 1-on-3 here with Seized in the middle. Hoping to be the backstab and whatever retake was going to happen if the bomb had gone down, which it didn't. So 5-0 and the 6th round coming up. And it's another AWP for Guardian. That's now 2 in 5 rounds, so it's not too bad. Still got some kind of economy going on.
Yeah, they're able to get a full buy again, but again, you guys can see the big difference here between both of these teams. And yeah, because they have so much money, Olafmeister, you start off the round with 10,000. He goes for the double op now. So on the CT side, Fnatic, they decide, okay, we've played 2 rounds with rifles. Now NaVi have gotten a bit of a feel for that. Let's go ahead and change things up, try and catch them off guard here. Without, before NaVi actually pick up a round and feel like they're going to have us under pressure, we're just going to go ahead and change our game. Really make it difficult here for NaVi to deal with us. Nice nade here onto Edward, doing a little bit of damage, down to 73. And Olafmeister, you can move in behind this, and it's perfect. Edward, never expecting the aggression. And now NaVi have to be wondering, wait a second, Olaf had the op? Does that mean that JW dropped it to him? Or are we actually going up against that double AWP? NaVi have to be a little bit worried here.
Oh, definitely. I think you're right as well to point out the diversity in Fnatic setup here. It's definitely very important. Zeus going to be getting a refrag there on Flusher, so they get something in return, but he himself has dropped down to 11 health, so they are still a bit behind. And Fnatic with a bit of a trap setup over at B as well. They got 2 players, and one of them in the corner and one behind all the way in the back of the site. So either way, it's going to be tricky for NaVi. The one thing that will break this is if they actually split B instead of just running straight in. If they come in through window and door, that's going to make life really tough, I think, for the players. And actually, to counteract that, Crims is jumping to see it. This is all just very smart, isn't it?
So that means that JW's holding in Snake right now, that little corner that's next to Dark. Yeah, he's here with the AWP.
And he's got a Molotov. So you can buy time. If he gets the first kill, you can put that Molotov in. Yeah. Well, he's actually, well, they're both going to smoke it off, so a bit of a mistake.
Miscommunication, but there's 20 seconds left. It doesn't really matter. They're just going to go charging through here. NaVi, they're running out of time. They've got a man pushed up to top Dark, and that's actually top mid, and Zeus is able to pick off Dennis, who flanked from long. But with only 10 seconds left, they're going to have 10 seconds, and he misses the jump, Flamey. He needs to get up here. They're just not going to have the time, NaVi.
No, they're definitely not. Olaf gets caught, 6 seconds left. They cannot win this round. The time is simply out. So Seized with the bomb in CT spawn. They get all the kills they needed. They just did not have the time. What a heartbreaking way to begin this first half. I mean, one thing is losing the pistol like they did. You can recover from that. But this round should have been theirs if they just had another 10 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. It would have been perfect. There was a single man, and they managed. That was Olafmeister, and they managed to flank him from long as well. So the whole site is opened up. It's going to come down to an impossible retake from B. And well, it just doesn't pan out for NaVi. Sometimes, I mean, it's very rare that you see NaVi run out of time like this, because they're like famous for actually executing with like 20 seconds left and making it work, getting in there, getting the bomb plant down just in the nick of time, and then winning the round, right? This time around is one of the few times that we actually see NaVi really just wind up stumped. And again, the aggression, man, Fnatic, they're just showing no respect to NaVi. Continuous pushes all across the map. Last round, it was Olafmeister taking an aggressive peek into Longhouse. Again, this time it's aggression in Upper Dark.
JW right on the corner. He just wants to see that one shoulder, and Seized is going to give it to him, and that's all they needed. And you're right, a lack of respect, but also just, I mean, a completely different setup. Again, someone should spend the time doing this. Try and get like a screenshot at the beginning of every round for Fnatic here on the CT side, and just look how different it is every time. Just enough that NaVi kept guessing, and Olafmeister going to be picking off Edward. Flick from Guardian, doesn't quite connect. And this has gone horrible right now for the NaVi team. 6-0. Remember, Fnatic playing on the CT side here. I think Fnatic are going to be even stronger, I think, on the T side. They're going to have a better time.
And these steps, Dennis hears these steps. So he's close enough to be able to hear the rotation coming through, or at least he knows that a man is up in T-spawn now. So all he has to do is sit here and wait. He's got the advantage of positioning, and now Flamey is basically trying to back off as well. Given where the bomb was dropped, it's impossible for NaVi to make anything happen, and again, they're just going to try and run down this clock and survive. But Dennis is so close, he's going to be able to pounce. As soon as this clock ticks over, he should be right out these doors looking for a fight. But it looks like Flamey might be giving it to him just a little bit too soon here. There's the angle. He gets spotted. Information. Guardian rotates back around as well. 5 seconds left here, left on this clock. And the push is coming in from T-spawn. 2 shots ring out from NaVi. And it does look like they'll be able to just barely hold on to their stuff here. JW, can he make it around the corner? He does! He gets the kill on Flamey.
It's ridiculous. He actually picks that up. What seemed like the sort of the round had already switched over.
Oh, and look at the impact. I mean, Flamey, he lives through the time. And as a terrorist, if you live through that clock, you don't get any money at the end of the round. So he's down to $1,100. What can he do after this? I mean, he could go Tech 9 Kevlar, no helmet, just straight up. Or just go Deagle and a couple of nades.
I think Vugo is briefly out of it, and that actually allows us to just bring up the fact that the coaches are actually in the background. If you see the monitor right there behind both NaVi and Fnatic, that's Vugo and Star respectively, who are actually on the server with them. That's something that ESL set up specifically for this, and it's a super cool idea. I think it's a really good initiative that they could be right there with them. So,
well, it makes it so much easier now because you actually have these coaches like Threat, for example, you know, who are calling the shots. For them to be in game, it makes a huge difference for them. It's so difficult to actually call effectively if you're standing behind your teammates. Oh. There's the flash, and that actually saves Dennis. And he walks up, but he's not going to be able to actually do anything with this. Bit surprised by the decision to go aggressive in this round when NaVi...
Well, again, if you were building that chart at home of all the different CT site setups, then you could add this one. You know, I think it's just a matter at this point of making sure that NaVi are kept guessing every single time, which is maybe also why NaVi are playing this round so defensively early on, because they're just like, we don't even know what Fnatic are doing anymore. Let's just play really defensively, make sure they don't catch us anywhere. And the first, I think, almost the first sign of light here for the NaVi team.
Oh, this is a sick setup. JW is holding close. If that flash goes through, there's the flash, and that actually got all 3 of them. But now he's looking to get lucky through that wall. Oh man, unfortunately, Crims is in. He's like blocking off that angle, so he can't really go hard into it.
Yeah, but will it trick them to think that Crims isn't in the corner? No, it won't. Flamey gonna check it anyway.
That's why.
See those shots coming. You could have thought, well, it's not gonna be anyone in the corner. Then is there?
Well, that's. I mean, JW eventually had to back off to hold the site, but that's why I thought All right, because that flash comes out, it doesn't flash JW, it flashes Crims, but then if JW's there to hold the angle, Flamey never makes it through those doors. He's dead instantly. So a little bit surprised that, I mean, the timing worked out perfectly for Na'Vi to try and go aggressive and push.
Well, 2-on-4 with the bomb down as well. AWP potentially to save here. I think JW just saw Guardian in the middle, but it was a bit too late, and now it's all on, all off. And he's been having a kind of a ridiculously good game so far, but he is going to end up going down with, say, just a double kill. That makes it 7-1, and he's at 13-1-5 right now. So it's still not too bad here, but that's the first round that Na'Vi are going to pick up here on Dust2, and they are best-of-1 games here. You can't afford to lose too many.
Yeah, full round robin as well, guys. So everybody's going to play everybody in the groups. It's 2 groups of 6 teams. And so, yeah, every shot matters. HE goes off to block it, and then Guardian looks like he just barely spotted out the man trying to take that fight in mid. Of course, it's going to be JW. And look at this aggression from Na'Vi. They just go powering through JW. Is he going to turn around in time? Does he realize somebody's through on B slope? Yes, and he's calling it out to his teammate now as well. There's going to be a crossfire in a second here, and there it is. Olafmeister, he's there to save the day, but Crims, it's fine. Back off. He's waiting for the flash. He goes in for the peek, but he's playing it safe. And now, Fnatic, they should have an excellent retake coming in here because they have more than enough men to put a couple into Upper Dark and really get that pincer going into this B site.
What a strange and confusing push coming out of Na'Vi this round. Where's the smoke in CT spawn? Where's the coordination with the people running Upper Dark? What is even happening right now here on the T side? They're going to get the bomb down, and somehow they will still get into a 3v5 after plant. Fnatic have 2 Molotovs, which means some of these positions that Na'Vi are holding right now are going to be hard to sustain. And Guardian, out of them, this is one of them back here. He might not be able to stand there for too long.
And they're so good. This is such a hard position for Guardian to hold as well. You can see him worrying about multiple angles. Molotov goes down. That forces him out. He's just roasting. He's down to 9 HP. And there's just flashes, everything getting chucked in here. They're putting up a good fight, Na'Vi. At least they get a couple of kills in. But then it's just that manpower, that extra manpower, and all the utility. Fnatic, they take no risks. They don't just run in there and try and take aim battles. No, they have all these flashes and Molotovs. They just make life as difficult as possible for Na'Vi there in that situation.
Look, I was being super salty on Twitter here a couple of days ago because I was getting really annoyed at people not defending B-bomb site properly. And Fnatic have shown us like a bunch of different ways of doing it, right? They pushed 3 people up a dark. It's not like we've never seen that before, but just a lot of teams have just stopped doing it for no reason at all. This was actually a retake on the B-bomb side, which is very, very rare. Like, no one wants to actually retake B-bomb side. Admittedly, they were 3-on-5, so maybe the choice was a little bit easier to make. But then the fact that they'd saved the Molotovs makes it so much easier. So if you are going to be playing retake B, which I almost hesitate to say that, retake A is actually a real strat. Yeah. Retake B is more like something else went wrong, so let's just retake B. YOLO. But if you're going to do it, then at least have some Molotovs left that you can actually force out those corners with. I don't know. I mean, it's not surprising that Fnatic are playing well, but it's always just a little bit scary how much goes into it, right? And Guardian, if he hadn't been Molotov over in that corner, he could have done a lot of damage. And
exactly.
It's not going to start out well for Flamey this round. He ends up dropping to JW in the middle.
And they've got that double AWP set up as well. Seized already got tagged earlier on. He's down to 26. Double op versus double op. JW, he does get dropped a little bit low here, but it's still a man advantage now for Fnatic. They can fall back, and they go back to the 2-1-2 setup. They let and this is, you know, you're talking about retake B, retake A. This is kind of that approach here from Fnatic. If you focus on long and make sure you control long, absolutely. Interesting little bit of flash there, actually, to clear out Longhouse as well. But then the Incendiary goes in. That's going to buy more time here. But if Fnatic can control long and really hold on to this angle, they shouldn't have any trouble coming into it afterwards to get that retake going.
They need to get this first kill on Dennis, but he's been playing pretty well. Edward, I think, did he just flash himself? He might have Dennis in the corner here. He sees it. The gun barrel sees, doesn't get the crossing kill, and that's going to make it really tough. They're pushing Catwalk, but they needed the push on long to work as well.
Yeah, and Edward's own smoke works against Seized. He actually can't hunt down Dennis. Dennis just uses that smoke, gets away to safety, and then it's impossible. Oh. Guardian hits a jump shot onto JW, though. Well, JW was jumping. But again, they're just running out of time here, Na'Vi. They're really looking stumped versus the aggression that's coming out from Fnatic. Another attempt at a wall bang. Guardian holding that angle, just daring them to come around the corner, but Fnatic realized there's no reason to throw away guns needlessly. That would be an impossible situation to try and rush them down there through that choke. So 16-1-7 for Olaf.
And I mean, you bring up the point about not throwing guns away. Fnatic, they're 9-1, and their economy is amazing. So we can sort of almost deduce from that. And now they haven't been playing completely devastatingly bad here, but starts off well this round. Crim's going to be going down. That was Guardian getting the straight shot through. Headshot as well, and that is going to be it. But yeah, they just need some consecutive rounds here, and maybe they could actually force Fnatic's eco.
That was a pretty sick shot from Guardian. Gonna give it to him. JW, he will get flashed off the angle again. It seems like NaVi are pretty familiar with his tactics, holding on that B slope, looking up towards Catwalk. Now NaVi and this quasi-buy, I mean, it's a force buy basically from them. They've got the Tech 9 Kevlar, they have the double op. Now we have to see if they can hit that timing right here. JW just waiting for the peak. Flush is here as well, and they hear the footsteps as well now. So JW, he switches back to that AWP, doesn't want to get caught with a nade in his hand. But NaVi, they're just unwilling to commit anywhere. It's just a quick peek, see if you can catch somebody. No? Okay, then change it up. We have a little bit of info to go off of.
And look at the mad risk that Fnatic are taking in this round. They're leaving nobody at B in a 4 versus 5. So if Na'Vi push B, this round is done. And I think actually Fnatic might just think if they push B, we're just going to save our rifles anyway, so to hell with it. But instead, they got 3 people stacked at A, and that means now Na'Vi pushing into a pretty decent defense. Olaf just needs to buy time, gets a shot on Flamey, and flushes there as well. This has gone horribly wrong for Na'Vi. Finally, a bit of a reply there. Su's picking up 2 with the Tech 9, a 3rd one as well. And it's going to be JW alone in a 1-on-3, trying to see if he can make it back, but he can't. Su's going to catch him for the quad kill. What a power round coming out of Sus, and that's what they need. And they needed it a while ago, but it happened finally.
We can see what we can tell already what's going on here with Na'Vi, and that again comes down to that mental block sort of situation where we're seeing the difference between when they have rifles and when they're on pistols. When they have, like, on the rifles, they're clearly just too worried to actually commit anywhere, and it's slowing down their game. Whereas when you have the pistol, you get that little, just a hint of YOLO, right? You kind of run in there, you look for fights that you wouldn't take normally. Zeus charges onto that site and just looks for those headshots, going ham. And that's what we're seeing from Na'Vi. The 2 rounds that they've won have been when they've had pistols and they've had less pressure on themselves, whereas they just seem to struggle when they actually have the rifles. So Na'Vi need to figure out, okay, how in a rifle round can we actually feel like we're playing just with pistols? You know, just to have that confidence, that courage to just run out there and take fights.
I mean, this is I think a common thing, isn't it? That you end. I mean, I think it's exactly what you just said. People play with just a little bit less pressure. You feel more inclined to just take the fight, running with the Tech 9 like that, and it sometimes does work out. We're into the 13th round. It's going to be another bit of mid-aggression coming out of Fnatic here.
Well, a little bit of a shot going there on the Guardian. Flamey looking to see if he can't trade, and that's not going to happen. Now that Na'Vi have started to show a little bit of resistance here, Fnatic, they haven't really gone for that upper dark push, the early round upper dark push for a couple of rounds now. Instead, it's just JW kind of camping around in mid. There was a little bit of a presence over on Catwalk as well, and it seems like they haven't totally given up on that yet, but yeah, JW is just content to sit here, and there's Guardian, and this time Guardian, he crouches in, and JW's aiming right over his shoulder. So again, here now Na'Vi actually have an edge. They have an advantage. We have to see if they can take advantage of it now and actually be able to push up onto this site. Dennis, he's in no man's land. He's alone.
Yeah, very much so. He could get flashed in by a teammate, maybe in spawn there. He's going to be moving forward, turns around for a second. He's going to win the first fight. That's the bomb down, but Guardian there with a swift reply. Great grenade, though. Brings him down low, and Flusher playing close here. And that's a scout in his hand, so they've got to be careful with that jumping. Olaf maybe a bit too aggressive on the flank, and so is Crims, and it's going to be around for Na'Vi here, making it 9-4. I feel like this string of rounds needed to happen in the 5th or 6th round for them to have a reasonable game here.
Yeah, I was wondering, I was trying to watch on the little screen there, you know, the little image that we get of the team, who's actually talking on the team right now, because that seems like a little bit of miscommunication there as the timing for Olafmeister, because Olafmeister just ran up there as if they had already committed to Catwalk.
Yeah.
He was not expecting there to be 3 people waiting for him there. So, yeah, I wonder if there was a little bit of miscommunication, perhaps from Dennis, perhaps from Flusha, telling him, oh, you know, they're up on the side, they're already pushing, they've committed, and so Olafmeister got punished there.
Easy push for the 2 people there running into B, because they had seized in spawn, actually spotting out how many people crossed, and they knew it was just JW, so should be no problem here. The bomb's back in spawn, though.
The hell was that?
Seized dies. This is going to be the most awful turn of events for Na'Vi. He takes the fight, and no head armor there on Olaf, on Dennis, so he goes down. And now it is all on Olaf for the ace clutch in a round where they only have pistols. Not going to happen. Guardian will take him out, and it will be 9-5.
Yeah, no fun. No fun allowed. Now the Guardian's starting to wake up a little bit. Of course, Guardian, he's leading the way for his team right now, 12-0-9. And they go back to the double AWP. So yeah, Na'Vi really just favoring this strategy. I mean, Seized, we haven't really seen too much flash from him with that op so far. He is kind of struggling a little bit.
5 ops.
But yeah, whatever.
It's
You got the money.
round.
You got the money, go for it. Live life a little bit, right?
And only one of them fires in the middle.
How the hell does that happen?
Absolutely love it. then why even buy
Wait,
them?
what? Oh, seized over at long. I think the Fnatic were not expecting them to push long so aggressively. If they heard, maybe that was it. Maybe they just took a couple shots. Maybe it's like ultra mind game.
It could have been. Oh, no. Oh, no. It was actually Flush's grenade that caught him, but seized. Oh, no.
See that turnaround where he's just like, oh, no.
Yeah, I'm dead here now. This is my spot in the world for another second. Flamey going to be taking down Olofmeister as well, and we're looking for a bit of a good round here for Na'Vi once again. So, I mean, all things considering, and especially how close some of the earlier rounds were, they started off looking really bad for Na'Vi, but they're definitely catching up now. JW with a great frag, though, coming in onto Guardian there. Where he's back into a 3-on-3. Flusher trying to take the fight, but Edward going to shut him down. It's a nice shot, JW here. No scope, AWP jump shot. No, we're not going to get it. Edward is killing all the fun for us, Semler, and it's going to be all up to Crims.
Yeah, I think he was trying. He was trying to get that. Let's see, Crims. He's so consistent as the clutcher as well for Fnatic, but a 1v3 where the bomb is planted for long already. He's at a bit of a disadvantage coming through this angle. He will hear Edward commit to this fight. Bit of a surprising play there from Edward, but Edward knows that the crossfire is established and he has faith in his teammates to be able to just lock this down. Crim should get nowhere near this bomb site. And you can see him just trying to check all these angles before he actually commits to it, but Flamey's in... What? The pre-fire? No way, Crims! Okay, Zeus, he puts an end to it, but... that pre-fire around the angle.
Look at Crims just laughing as well in that corner. That smile. Wipe that smile off your face, Crims. That's completely absurd.
And if he'd have hit Zeus, if he'd have got the headshot on Zeus there, that would have been one of the clutches of the year, pretty much flat out.
That is so... That's a grotesque shot to be taking.
All Flamey can do at that point is just kind of shake his head.
I don't even know what to say.
All right, what do you do against that? Edward, okay, fine. Edward dies. Yeah, that happens. But Flamey, he's got to be sitting there thinking, I got this, guys. There's nothing he can do, and then he's just dead.
That just seems like such a solid crossfire as well. What a scary way to start off. Well, Smoke goes off to the headshot box there, just like Na'Vi did it. We're in the second half here. First game of Intel Extreme Masters, and we've got Edward on the corner of long, missing shots. And they're actually going to allow him to get back. If they just rush him there, there's a chance they can catch him if they're quick enough, and he won't make it back around. So, decent enough job, really, to stay safe. Long-range fight, Glock versus USP, and Fnatic going to come out on bottom this time. It's Flamey and Zeus to start off. Nice shot from Zeus. P2000 still in hand. And the bomb is down.
What is going on with Zeus? He's doing so much work right now, and now the bomb is, well, basically stuck on catwalk. Zeus decides to press forward. He's got 3 kills so far. Olofmeister chiming in, but Olofmeister, he's so very low, they can't seem to get the last bullet on him, though. Finally, Zeus, he steps out. Quad kill in the pistol round here, in the CT round for Na'Vi.
You know what? Because we've brought up this point a couple of times in the past. We've sort of said, well, Zeus was the in-game leader, and that role was sort of evaporated from the team. I mean, sure, he has an opinion, he can probably still make some calls, but StarX is taking over a lot of that anyway.
Yes.
So, you know, Zeus never contributed his team so much as a top fragger. So if he can't transition into that role, well, then would it be better for Na'Vi to pick up somebody else? I actually think in the past months, I think Zeus has proven that he can actually be a very valuable player, even in that sense. So that's quite impressive. That must be very hard for someone like Zeus to try and, think if you met the entirety of his career across 1.6-12, to suddenly, give up a little bit of that and then do something else. He seems to be doing quite well.
It's a similar situation that we've seen with Existence now that Shoxy's on the team as well. I think Shox took over a little bit of the calling on G2, and so yeah, you see these callers who have had all the pressure on their shoulders. Now they finally get to kick back a little bit, relax, just focus on their crosshairs. And yeah, Zeus is one of those players who seems to have really benefited from StarX taking over the reins. Although I still think that he gets pretty frustrated sometimes. Like there's a little bit of a tilt element that's still there in the game for him.
Well, I think that just goes back to like Na'Vi generally being an emotional team when it comes to stuff like that, right? Which is something they should be working on. But there's kind of a start, unless they screw something up here in this 5 versus 3. It's probably going to land them a tied scoreline, 9-9, and then it's up to Fnatic to get back in the game quick.
It's a nice flash, but okay, never mind. Crim's sick wallbang headshot onto Zeus. But they don't know that there's a second man here. Nope, Crims is ready for it. It's Olofmeister who gets the headshot on Guardian instead. Now Flamey pushing up. It's still a 2-on-3 now. They do manage to find the kill, and Seized and Flamey just doing work, and it's coming down to Crims playing a game of peekaboo, where he risks everything. He's just trying to stay alive, and the knife comes in from Seized! Jumping Hollywood, straight in. Crouching Swede, hidden dragon. I don't know, man, dude. That was some crazy stuff right there. Seized, what a beast.
Yeah, that was a nice way to start off the second half. Why not? Stabbing Crims in the face. 8-9. And the money, well, Fnatic do want to give themselves a bit of a chance. Nobody even saving, it seems, for an AWP.
Bit surprising right now. I mean, it seems like Fnatic are only really in this game because of Olafmeister at this point. I mean, JW's had some shots, Crims as well, but Olaf is the only one who's really deep into double digits, whereas the rest of them still kind of floating around single. It's a bit toasty in that room, but it's all right. JW can hang.
Fnatic, single flashbang, I think, on Flusher, so they've got something they could do up here on Catwalk. Make it in, get the bomb down, stuff like that. Again, just a single flash, and they're gonna use it to peek. So if anyone had been there and was re-peeking, maybe a chance for a headshot.
Oh, Guardian a bit scared there. The flashes come out there, that keeps him alive, and Zeus is here to support. Zeus will just be like fearless, pushing forward onto that A site, looking to deny it, and it's Seized with the jump shot again. Seized, jumping knife, jumping shot with the FAMAS. It's all good. Fnatic, they are a little bit, like that bonus money would have been fantastic for them. It means that Dennis could have had full set of nades to go with it. They would have had a few more Molotovs to play with here. But it's still not going to stop Fnatic from actually picking up the double op. Okay, that's what I was wondering. If Olafmeister goes for the op right off the bat, fair enough. JW could go for the rifle or go for some kind of, you know, clever kind of weapon. He's the guy who kind of just uses all the weapons in the game. But JW decides to go glass cannon straight up, and Dennis just charges right into mid, looking to catch somebody off guard with this aggression. He's going to get spotted, though. The element of surprise is gone. And look at this fast B-split. They're just rushing out fearlessly, Fnatic.
They get the good trade early on now. Just one member back here, and that's Flamey, and he's going to have to go huge here. JW picking up Edward. Zeus going down in spawn. Crims nearly with the kill. Guardian on 1 health, and all around is still going to be a 1v2 here. I don't see Guardian making this work, but looks... Oh, he's actually going to take the fight with a pistol, but Olafmeister going to shoot him in the leg eventually. That was... If he had got the kill on Olaf, that could have legitimately been a scary round for Fnatic, but it does go the Swedish way. And now be able to pick up another AWP here, and actually 2 of them.
Yeah, now they're going to go back to it. It's crazy how both of these teams, I mean, they're showing that they're willing to go for the double op on both sides. No fear, straight into it as well, really early on in the half. Whereas sometimes you see teams go for the double op as like a last-ditch, you know, ace up their sleeve kind of maneuver, where they try and play 4 rifles, a single op, but then if things get really tough, you know, they'll go for the double op. But now both of these teams really showing that they're willing to make that a core strategy. So long as they have the money, they will go for the double op as the main option. And Seized, I mean, Seized is also consistent. You know, if you put him over on that B site, he can just hold that off alone, and it allows NaVi to have much more of a focus on mid and get that defense set up over on the A site. It's almost similar to like Inferno kind of style of CT, where you're just gambling on A, and then you just try and hit that timing to rotate back over to B to support your mate there.
Bit of an odd setup, I think, for NaVi here. I mean, Fnatic had a similar setup where they had one guy hiding over at B, but they had a backup plan for that, right? They had... I think it was Crims or something inside the bomb site to distract them. This time it's just a single person, so if Seized loses this fight, all hell is going to break loose.
They've got Flamey boosted up in CT though, so he can look over the mid smoke. But Fnatic, they're not interested in that mid smoke, and instead they're just going to push right out onto the site. Seized nearly gets clipped, down to 15 HP right off the bat. The timing was impeccable for Fnatic to move through, and then with the smoke going down, how are they not able to kill this guy?
I think NaVi just going to give up this round. I mean, what else could they really do? Su's going to get a kill there. Well, that might spark them to try and do something. The bomb is only just down, but the added round timers or the bomb timer might be interesting here. Zeus, flashbang on in. Crims is up there and waiting, and at the Galil close range going to win the fight.
Superior angle for Crims. That was the key frag right there. Still, man advantage going into this for NaVi. They lose Zeus, but I mean, they still have a 2-man advantage going into this, or rather D-man, and Edward coming in from T-spawn basically seals the deal here. Crims doesn't have any way out. Olafmeister's going to battle his way through, and they will not be collecting the round, NaVi, but they can certainly do some damage here. Flamey, he just barely misses out on Olafmeister making it into T-spawn, but he still has his mate Guardian up there watching the angle. And Guardian, is he going to run into Olaf? They might have that duel up there.
Oh, yeah.
Instead, it's Flamey catching Flusha somehow. Flusha, was there an... can't remember an op dying down there. Perhaps it was JW? they got caught by Zeus, and that led to him trying to get down there to pick up a gun.
Yeah, I think so. Well, it's just a strange round. I mean, I think it was just the timing simply. Seized, walking out of the bomb site up in window, and I don't know. I don't like the setup anyway that NaVi were going for in this round. I think it's too much reliance on the first couple of kills, right, basically. Zeus gonna run into 3 people in Upper Dark. Had a perfect weapon for it, but just too many targets up there. It's gonna be another good start for Fnatic.
I think what it boils down to is Seized deciding to focus on mid to help Flamey out. Perhaps because Flamey said that the smoke went down on B slope, so it's not the standard CT split smoke, and so Seized is wondering, you know, do I need to help my mate? Is that going to be an issue here? That's where it all breaks down. But still, NaVi, I mean, they should be able to shake that off. The fact that they lost the opening kill here shouldn't be the end of the world. They just need to keep their cool. They are hitting their shots right now. So we have to see Fnatic, they go back to more of a default approach to spread out across the map right now, holding all the points to make sure that NaVi can't push. Because when you get to that minute mark is when you could kind of expect, you know, the CT side to try and take a little bit of a risk just to get some info. Instead, NaVi, they're just electing to hold all the points very securely on their side. They're confident in their aim and willing to just let Fnatic come into the fight. 2 players over on that B site, single man on Catwalk and a single man holding Long, and Long isn't where the action's going to be. It's going to be all on Seized here with the AWP as they come around Catwalk. There's the first shot. Dennis goes down, but now Fnatic, they're so quick, they're explosive, they're going to be right behind him, but Seized manages to get back into a solid position here with this AWP. Now he can back off to Long after taking the first shot to make sure that they hold on to that and then can go into the retake.
Oh, Olaf jumping down, actually, going to get real close to Long, and he shuts down Seized, and now Edward, he wants to go for it. JW playing the lurking role right now, and he hears that walk away as well. The easiest kill of JW's life about to come in. Oh, actually, he misses the chance. That should have been such an easy kill. Now you got to wonder a little bit. He runs right into Flamey instead and ends up going down. So 3-on-3, are they going to go for the retake? They don't have a lot of time, and actually don't have a kid picked up either, so that might be the deciding difference here. What a strange round, because as long as they had seized on Long, it looked like everything was going to be fine.
Yeah.
But Oliver was allowed to jump into CT spawn without anybody even seeing him.
Yeah, C's not able to spot it. C's just like hanging out around there. It seemed like C's was a little indecisive as to when he wanted to back off. Olaf took the fight to him, and that was it. So 3-on-3, and again, Fnatic, they managed to actually eke out a win here. And this is going to have a little bit of an impact on NaVi. They should be able to drop for the next round, so they should have a bye. This is still far too close for comfort. Money is really low on the CT side. It's not fantastic on Fnatic's side either. So I mean, this is still neck and neck. NaVi definitely not out of this. It's just that Fnatic now in these kind of like clutch kind of rounds, basically, where it comes down to, you know, are you going to take the fight or not, right? You know, show us if you're confident. They keep winning these kinds of situations, and that's really going to start messing with NaVi's head. Oh, this is one way to change it up.
Oh, Edward still picks up the kill. That drops the bomb. There's still another 2 people here for the NaVi team. They can isolate that bomb in the corner. You see JW trying to get that bomb out of there. But they are going to win the fight eventually. Guardian still in play with the AWP, and if they continue to push A right now, and you've got to appreciate Fnatic slowing it down as much as they are.
Yeah, no reason to. No reason to now. They had the skirmish. They came out way ahead. All of the utility nearly used up here for NaVi. And with 1:20 on this clock now, it's going to really come down to NaVi, you know, having to get lucky. And you can see Flamey kind of hanging around mid doors. He might push, and that's it. Missed shot by Olaf? He doesn't get the wallbang either. I thought that was on.
Yeah, that looked like it was going to be on.
But still, I mean, that could have been it right there. That would have finished the round, because now, well, Fnatic could have pushed onto B for free had Flamey gone down.
Yeah, and you bring up Flamey, and you brought up the utility as well, and I think you're right. The problem is he doesn't have anything here. He can't, you know, put up a Molotov or a flashbang or anything like that. In this corner, he has to get 2 kills. 1 is not enough. So that's just a lot on his plate right now. 40 seconds left. Fnatic made their way in, but now we do have another player coming in, actually. Up in the window, it's Guardian with the AWP. Flamey going to take the first shot. Now Guardian, are they going to be spotting for him? Oh, they will be, and they get both the kills simultaneously. Crims and Olive trusting each other.
Yes.
If you look the other way and you both look window, you're going to lose the round. But some really good team play there, and that's Seized now. I mean, you can't do a thing. Fnatic about to get 13.
Fnatic are just so good at knowing what they need to do in each given situation. And you're right, it's just like they have that ultimate trust in one another. You can tell it's just like, I'm going to sit and hold this angle, and I'm going to trust, if I die, it's because you messed up, but I'm going to trust in you to hold your angle, and it works because of it. Just because they're able to actually make sure, you know, they just know that each one is watching the right spot, and then it's just, bam, perfectly done. NaVi fall right into it. And we will have attack pause, I think, coming up here for Na'Vi. They're looking a little dejected over there on their side of things, so we might actually have to have a bit of a discussion here on their part to see what they can come up with, because the money, if we bring it up, the money is not going to be good for Na'Vi right now. And it's like, it is force buy territory, but it's not an ideal one. I mean, Edward's the only one with 4,000. They save a gun, but even then, it's not an AWP, it's just a single AK. C's could drop a FAMAS for somebody, and then that means some decent nades on 2 players, but then the rest of them, it's going to be a little touch and go.
How many rounds have they lost in a row here? Because that's...
Quite a few.
Yeah, if they lose the next one, it's going to be a 5th, right? That matters because if they force now, then they're going to need the round loss to sort of make it up, you know? So if they force now, then they will essentially have another force buy of a similar caliber next round, because they'll get 3,400 plus whatever, you know, whatever kind of money they get from shooting people. So, I mean, they could have a similar style force up in the next round anyway. So the question is, do you want to go for 2 force ups, or do you want to sort of, you know, just even out the money on this round? And I mean, I think might go for that.
So the question is, like, do you have faith in your ability to hold when Fnatic are at 14? And that's what Na'Vi right now are discussing. It's just like, we go for the force because we need to have that 1 round of buffer before Fnatic get up onto that 14th round. We stop them at 13, we got a chance, because maybe we falter a little bit later on, we lose a round, but then we can come back into it, and it's not overtime, it's not match point.
But rather than going for the double force, they sort of even out the money, because again, 3,400 bonus. They know that in the next round they're gonna have money, even at 1,200 there on Guardian. That's enough to make it work.
They give themselves a little bit of a fighting chance here. Now it comes down to whether Fnatic recognize what's actually going on in this situation. If they go for a default kind of hold, or if they kind of move around as a group in what you should expect from a team dealing with an anti-eco situation. You don't want to just go, you know, split up and take a bunch of dual fights where maybe you drop a rifle to Na'Vi and you get caught off guard. Fnatic are usually pretty good about sticking together and making sure that they move together as that unit, so that if a CZ comes around a corner, he maybe only gets the 1, and if that.
JW trolling a little bit. I think maybe they could hear each other a tiny bit.
That's whether they understand each other.
I doubt it. I don't know how much JW's been brushing up on his Ukrainian, but still.
I mean, you know, we're all fluent for matchmaking, right? So
that is a good point. C's going to be falling back quick here on the catwalk. Looked like a lot of speed for Fnatic early on, but they have slowed it down since. Still, means they get a bit more map control, allows them to do more things, especially in the middle. Don't want to be splitting B if there's a guy on catwalk from the CT side. That's not fun.
And this is and Fnatic are just moving together as a pair. Crossfires everywhere. 3rd man there to back up and watch for a CT as well. Edward's going to get right behind B-Slope, but he's going to step right out into Crims. CZ75, not the best gun to have in that kind of long-range fight, but Zeus and Guardian working together there to pick up the kill in mid. Not going to save Zeus's life, though. And that's a perfect situation there for Fnatic. What a way to handle that kind of... I mean, it's just that's how you anti-eco. You just stick together as a unit, and then you bring the rifles to bear. So the guys there with the CZ, sure, but then you have 2 AKs unloading in his face, and there's just no way out. Guardian gets caught by Crims, and Fnatic, they just handled that masterfully.
So what we need now is close. I mean, it has to be close to 7 rounds in a row for Na'Vi. They have the money for it. They go for the AWP. There's not going to be any armor on Guardian. Don't think that has too much of an impact. He's playing CT side with an AWP. That's going to be just fine. But they need some strong early kills, and more than anything, they need to force Fnatic to eco so they get some of these rounds for free.
Olaf expects it to come from B-Slope, that peak. But the smoke going down, that'll tell him. And now, actually, this is going to slow Fnatic down. Exactly, you can see the man all the way in lower dark, and what a flash combo coming in. Edward just hunts JW down. But this is perfectly timed from Na'Vi, because the focus from Fnatic is actually going to be, wait, there's a smoke that's cutting off lower dark. They might be pushing mid into lower dark right now. This is a little dicey, guys. And so Na'Vi, instead, they get aggressive on the other side of the map. That catches Fnatic off guard. Fnatic, I mean, it's still Crims who just kind of steps in there and brings it back to a 4-on-4.
That battle that we just saw between Edward and Crims, I see way too often being lost to by the CT player. Oop. Nice shot from Dennis.
He has to realize there's 2. Yeah, goes for the repeat and sees is there.
Well, now he does.
The guy pushing in alone, right? Dicey stuff, but
you know, when you walk out those long doors from the T side, your gun barrel is showing, that's one thing, but the shadow on the ground is showing as well. So you think the CT player has all the advantage, and yet people get caught off by like the run speed of the player coming out, which just seems a bit silly. I feel like you should be able to time that better. at a professional level. So I think that happens a little bit too often. Now, they are going to be pushing for the A bomb site. There's only one person holding, but it's Guardian with the AWP, and this should be his area of expertise. And, well, Olofmeister, his feet doesn't even touch the ground, or at least not while he's alive.
Yeah, easy shot for Olof, and now they realize that what they're dealing with here at Fnatic. Double op, Crims walks right into Seized. Seized, double scoped, looking for the catwalk push. He's gonna get caught by Flusha. Flusha, not gonna be able to best Guardian in mid, however, Guardian just too quick for him, and that's where we see the power of that double op. Thing is now, there's just no money to buy a second one here, so NaVi, they're in the pits. Fnatic have all the money to be able to go for whatever strategy they would like, whereas NaVi now, it's going to be just, you know, rifles across the board apart from Guardian here. And Guardian isn't even going to have a whole lot to work with, considering he just dropped a gun for a teammate.
Yeah, it's going to be just a bit sketchy, and we saw like 10,000 on one of the Fnatic members there at the beginning, so they do have a lot of money. 14 to 10.
They were going to go for the rush into B, Fnatic. Flusha, he does the 180 as soon as he sees the smoke come up, but had there not been a smoke, Fnatic were just going to go straight up YOLO and go towards that B site, go crashing into the defense there.
I feel like this game is, if only NaVi had not been so slow to start, this could have been a very, very different game. It's not done yet, but you've got to think Fnatic could take, you know, 2 out of the next 5 rounds.
I do like this hold from NaVi though. So like, okay, Fnatic, you've been poking around mid quite a bit here. So Zeus getting boosted up on the boxes, that is a little bit of a tricky spot. So Fnatic, once again, go through. They get that CT smoke down. Zeus is in the perfect spot to catch anybody pushing up B slope right now. Fnatic might fall for this trap. And there's still 2 players alive on that B side as well. So NaVi, they're looking pretty good right now as far as the setup is concerned. This should be Fnatic running into the blender. I wouldn't put it past, what, that nade coming out from that angle, does that tell JW anything? Or is that too much to read from?
It's hard to say right now, but he's in the middle. He doesn't get the shot there. Flamey going to be picking up one, Zeus with the second kill, and it's looking good right now for NaVi. Seized also picking up Flusher, so still a 2 versus 3. 1 in CT spawn, and that's JW. Zeus, he caught the shadow, but he doesn't turn around in time. Now there's 20 seconds, and the bomb is going to go down, and it's going to be a full 2-on-2 here. Somehow Fnatic find a way through what is a really good B setup there.
Yeah, all you can think is not like this. Oh no. What? How does that not shot? How's that shot not connect? Crims, he takes out Edward, and he's gonna get both kills in the end. But JW could have ended it right there and then. Quad kill for Crims though in the round. That brings him up to 20 kills in this map so far. But JW, how did he miss that shot? That looked like it was 100%.
Right between them. But I mean, if he had run out of the smoke while Zeus was still looking,
oh yeah,
it would have been over as well. So it's down to just some fairly ridiculous timing here.
And because, yeah, now it's just no money left for NaVi. So Fnatic, they've done it once again, at least, and we'll see. They are spread out a little bit here, dealing with this anti-eco situation, so that gives NaVi at least a little bit of an edge. And they continue to take fights versus these Deagles. I mean, Flamey's no slouch when it comes to the Deag. Him and Juan are good buddies.
Molotov going to be a bit too far, but now there's a scout behind there, Seized, hoping to use the bait a bit, but he goes down, in fact, and yeah, I think Fnatic, they're on track to winning the first map here as Flamey goes down. It's going to be 5 versus 3. And I don't know, I think there was definitely a chance for NaVi to win this game, but not anymore.
No, not anytime soon, man. It's still looking like they struggle with that block versus Fnatic. They just aren't able to get their game going against these Swedes. And then it's just, you know, little details, you're right, you know, just like in the last round with the smoke. It's these little things that keep going Fnatic's way, and then in the big rounds, Fnatic also just crush. NaVi, they tried, I mean, in the first half we saw it, where on their T side, whatever, they just had too much fear when they had the rifles. It was only when they actually had the pistols and started feeling like, okay,